Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Today we're listening to some shows from November 17th, 1957, and an episode of Gunsmoke starring William Conrad as it was found in a collector's area. You're going to enjoy this episode entitled The Cue.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke. Starring William Conrad, the story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely.
Difference, a great big difference in Vicks medicated cough drops. There is a difference, a great big difference. Get relief with every single drop.
Yes, there is a big difference in Vicks medicated cough drops. The medication makes the difference. Only Vicks cough drops are medicated with the exclusive throat-soothing ingredients of Vicks Vapor Rub. 2 delicious flavors, Vicks Regular and new Wild Cherry. Next time your throat feels raw and irritated from coughs due to colds, remember,
there is a difference, a great big difference in Vicks medicated cough drops.
The medication makes the difference.
Yes, the medication makes the difference.
And for a stuffy nose, just one whiff with a Vicks inhaler, and that miserable feeling of a stuffy nose goes in seconds. Use it anywhere, anytime. Vicks inhaler.
Mr. Dillon?
What?
Mr. Dillon?
What are you so riled up about, Chester?
Press Graydon and Howard Rab.
What are those bullies up to now?
Well, see, you won't never believe it, but there's a real Chinaman here in town. A little Chinese fellow with a pigtail and all. He just come into Dodge on a freighter's wagon, and right now Braden and Rab, they got him pushed up against the wall out there.
Well, what are they doing to him?
Well, they're deviling him and poking fun at him. I told them to leave him alone, but, Mr. Dillon, I wish you'd go tell him.
All right, Chester. I'll go tell them.
If there's anything I hate, it's a bully.
Well, maybe they're just curious about him. He's the first Chinaman I ever knew of in Dodge.
Wait till you hear him. Here they are. Look. I don't think you understand one word they're saying. He's just backed up there staring at him, holding tight that little old box he's got.
Maybe that's what they want.
That little box? Well, probably just his medicine or something.
Well, he's not an Indian, Chester.
No, sir, he ain't. But maybe them Chinese fellas has medicine, too. Look how he's hanging on to it.
Don't talk real good, do you, Raz?
Somebody must have split his tongue.
Oh, no, you know Chinese boys always sound like that. Now, look, good fella, I'm just asking you one more time. What are you doing in Dodge?
Oh, me catch a job. Me all the time working hard.
Oh, job, huh? Well, I sure hope you ain't brought your family with you.
No family. One man and one boy. All the same me.
Well, that's one good thing.
Why shouldn't the man have a family, Reb?
Oh, yeah. Hello, Marshal.
I said, why shouldn't he have a family?
Oh, well, you want a lot of Chinamen running around loose here?
What's your name, fella?
Chin Wong, me good boy. Catch him place Dodge City all the time. Work he hard.
Chen, I'm the U.S. Marshal here, and you're welcome in Dodge. You can stay here as long as you like.
What are you mixing in this for,
You got no business protecting him, Marshal. He's just dirty fawn, ain't he?
Except for the Indians, we're all foreigners here, Braden. Chen, I told you you're welcome, and you are. And if either one of these men bother you again, you come and tell me about it.
Now, look, Marshal, you look at that little box he's got. That's probably full of money that he stole somewhere.
No money. Chin no stealing no money.
Who's gonna believe you?
Get out of here, you two.
Huh?
Go on, move.
See about this later.
I never heard nothing like it. The law protected.
Chin no like he bring trouble, Marshal.
I'll worry about the trouble, Chen. Tell me, what kind of work do you do?
We catch on place. Very good cook.
A cook, huh?
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, what kind of cooking do you do, Chin?
All kind. Chinese cookie, American cookie, all kind.
Say, you know what, Mr. Dillon? We ought to take him over to Delmonico's.
Oh, why?
Well, sir, Mr. Green fired the cook he had there yesterday. Might be he ain't found another one yet.
All right, Chester, you take him over. Chen, you remember what I said about Rab and Braden? You come tell me if they give you any trouble.
From November 17th, 1957, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Gunsmoke, The Cue, from November 17th, 1957.
Mr. Green at Delmonico's took a chance and hired Chin Wong that day. And it turned out he wasn't lying about being a good cook, and neither was he lying about working hard. Mr. Green let him sleep in a storeroom off the kitchen, and there he stayed, out of sight, and for a while, out of trouble.
Oh, hello, Matt. Come in.
Hello, Doc.
I'll be right with you as soon as I finish with Chin Wong here.
No, what's the matter with Chen?
There, lying right there, you see? That's what was the matter with him.
You lost a tooth, aren't you?
There you are, Chin, I'm through. See, you better let me take a look at that in a day or two, huh?
Thank you, Doctor. I'll come back. How much do I owe you?
Oh, $1.
May I pay you next time? See, I won't get my salary from Mr. Green until Saturday. I have no money except for that.
Oh, sure, Chin, anytime.
Chen, the first time I saw you, you were being a very good Chinese boy, all the time worky hard, catch 'em job, that sort of thing.
Isn't that how a Chinaman's supposed to talk, Marshal?
Well, I thought it was, till just now.
Oh, some of my countrymen do talk like that, Marshal. English is a very difficult language for us.
Oh, what about you?
I was more fortunate than most. When I first came to America, I worked for a man who was very kind. He taught me, he made me study and practice several hours every day.
Oh, I see. Well, why were you talking the other way when I first saw you?
Experience has taught me that many men resent a Chinaman who does not talk the way they expect him to. I wish to avoid trouble.
Chin's on his way to San Francisco, Matt. He's going home as soon as he can save up enough money for his passage.
Oh, well, I wish you luck, Chen.
Thank you, Marshal. Well, I must get back to work now. Good day, gentlemen.
So long, Chin.
Goodbye.
He's a nice fella.
Yeah, he is.
I believe him about being broke, too.
Why shouldn't you, Doc?
Haven't you heard?
Heard what?
Pless Braden and Howard Rabb. They've been saying Chin's got lots of money. Now, they say he keeps it hid in that little box of his.
Oh. Yeah, with that kind of talk going around, Chin's in trouble. There are men besides Braden and Rabb who would murder him for his money and not even think it was a crime.
Suppose you're right, Matt.
I think I'll catch up with him and have a talk, Doc. I'll see you later. I had that talk with Chen, and I tried to get him to put his box in the bank and then let everybody know that he'd done so, but He said that he wanted the box near him and that he'd keep it hidden in his room. I couldn't argue him out of it, so I knew there'd be trouble. Sure enough, a couple of days later it happened, though not the way I'd expected. It was noon, and Chester and I went into Delmonico's for dinner.
Say, this place is plumb deserted, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, maybe it's closed.
There's Mr. Green.
Green, you closed today?
Hello, Marshal. Chester?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm closed, Marshal. I got no cook.
What?
Chen, he won't cook today. I don't know what's the matter with him. He won't even talk.
Oh, where is he?
Sitting in his room back there on the floor, just sitting there, staring at his hand.
Well, maybe he's sick.
No, he ain't sick. There's something wrong with him. Maybe you can find out what it is, Marshal. He might talk to you.
Yeah, sure, I'll try.
It's the storeroom right off the kitchen, Marshal. Door's open.
Yeah, I'll find it. Hello, Chen.
Hello, Marshal.
Okay, can I come in? I'd like to talk to you.
Come in.
How's your tooth? Giving you any trouble?
No.
Tell me something, Chen.
What, Marshal?
Do you consider me a friend?
I believe you are.
Well, good. Then maybe you'll let me help you.
In what way?
Well, I don't know. You'll have to tell me what's wrong first.
It would be difficult for you to understand, Marshal.
Well, maybe, but tell me anyway.
I'm Chinese, Marshal. I've lived many years in America, but I'm still Chinese.
Yeah, go on.
Years ago, my country was overrun by a tribe of Tartars called the Manchus. As they took each city, they required the inhabitants to shave around their heads, leaving only a long strand of hair to be braided into a queue. It was a sign of subjugation. But that has been forgotten. And now the queue, or pigtail, as you call it, is of great importance to us.
Wait a minute, Chen. I just noticed. Where's yours?
To lose the queue is a great disgrace to us, Marshal.
Who did it, Chen?
2 men. The same 2.
You mean Braden and Rab?
They came here last night. They wanted my treasure box.
And you wouldn't tell them where it was, so they cut off your pigtail, is that it?
They took it away with them, Marshal. That makes my disgrace even worse.
Chen, will it help any if I get it back for you?
If I don't get it back, I must kill those 2, Marshal.
No, don't you go killing anybody. You let me handle this.
I'm very sorry, Marshal, for all the trouble.
You just wait here, Chen. I'll see what I can do.
If it ain't Marshal Dillon.
You gonna buy us a drink, Mark?
I thought I told you meant to stay away from Chin Wong.
Chin Wong? Now what's he hollering about?
His pigtail. He wants it back.
I don't know what you're talking about, Marshal.
Yes, you do.
Chin's lying to you, Marshal. All them heathen foreigners is lying.
Rab. I want that pigtail. Now, where is it?
I don't know nothing about it, I tell you.
It was not us, honest. Now, Marshal, we did not do it.
Maybe I ought to beat the truth out of you.
Oh, we're telling you the truth now, Marshal.
I don't believe you. You get that pigtail back to Chen or you're in trouble.
No, what do you mean, trouble?
You'll find out when it's too late. And there's nothing I can do to stop it. I went back to Chen and I tried to explain things to him. I told him what had happened if he killed anybody, but that didn't bother him. And then I got mad at him for being so stubborn, and I guess he figured I didn't understand at all. So I left him feeling pretty helpless. The next day, he made his first move. I found out about it at the Long Branch.
Oh, it sure has been a long day, Matt. I'm worn out, and I got the whole night ahead of me yet.
Oh, well, what happened today, Kitty?
Oh, well, Sam over there got the bright idea of offering every other drink on the house to any soldier that walked in here.
Well, that's one way of keeping your saloon full.
Oh, yeah, it sure is. And if this goes on, I might as well move out to Fort Dodge and join the Army. I think it'd be easier.
I'm sure they'd be glad to have you, Kitty.
Marshal Dillon.
Yeah, what's on your mind, Rab?
That Chinaman, that's what. He's haunting us, me and Braden, and if he don't stop it, I'm going to put a bullet in him.
What do you mean he's haunting you?
Why, all afternoon he's been following us. Wherever we go, he just stands around staring at us. Why, it drives men crazy after a while. Now, I'm warning you, Marshal. I'm going to shoot him.
Good. Then I can come to your hanging.
Rab, I told you before to give Chin back his pigtail. He won't bother you if you do.
You still believe him, don't you, Marshal?
I believe him.
Well, it's a fine thing when a U.S. Marshal takes a word of a stinking, dirty little... Shut up!
Now, you get out of here, Rab. Go on.
All right, I'm going.
Matt, you better do something about that. They'll kill Chin for sure.
Unless he kills them first, Kitty. But I'll tell Chester to keep an eye on him. I'll see you later.
Yeah, sure.
New kind of shoe shine, new shine-ola. A one, a two, I tell them what's new.
Kids' scuffed up shoes take on a dancing shine.
With new shine-ola, the liquid kind. 8 or 9, tell them it dries to a shine.
No puffin' and no buffin', it dries to a shine.
That new shine-ola, the liquid kind.
Next thing you know, the Shinola folks will be offering to put the shoe polish on for you. Their new Shinola liquid wax not only shines itself with no rubbing or brushing, it now has an ingenious new kind of applicator that takes the work out of applying the polish. It's a flexible, flat-shaped applicator that bends to the contour of your shoe and eases right into those hard-to-get-at corners. Spreads the polish so accurately, you don't even have to take your shoes off to shine them. And Liquid Shinola's new wax shine is as special as the applicator. It's the fine leather shine you don't have to brush. Why not turn over your family shoe-shining chores to new Shinola liquid wax?
I sure am sorry, Mr. Dillon.
Why did you lose them, Chester?
Well, see, they was in the Texas Trail having a drink, and I was watching them like you told me. Then Orlo Watts come up and started talking to me, and next I looked, they was gone, all three of them, so I come after you.
Well, we'll find them.
Yes, I sure do hope so. Chin was carrying his little box, Mr. Dillon, right under his arm. He was getting... Look over yonder. What's everybody crowding up that alley for?
Well, let's go see.
All right, let Mr. Dillon through here now. Stand back, everybody. Alvin, then you... Mr. Dillon, it's Chin.
Yeah. He's been strangled, Chester.
Strangled?
Yeah, with his pigtail. I gave it back to him, all right.
Hey, look there. Knife. It's got blood all over it, too.
Yeah, it's a butcher knife. Chen must have cut one of them. Maybe both.
That'll make it easier to track him.
Yeah. Now, listen, all you men. I want you to stay here. I don't want anybody following us. You understand? All right, come on, Chester. Just take it easy. He may be waiting for us.
Yes, sir. Look, there's something laying over there by that rain barrel.
Oh?
It's a man.
Yeah, it's Howard Rabb, Chester. Looks like Chen cut him up pretty bad.
Is he dead?
Yeah, he's dead. Now let's find Braden. Get on!
Pull him back, Marshal. You ain't gonna take me.
He's out by that shed there, Mr. Jones.
Yeah. You stay here, Chester, and keep down. I'm going to crawl up there to where I can see him.
All right. I'll holler at him a little to keep his tension.
All right, good.
You ain't got no chance, Braden.
Get on back, I tell you.
Mighty poor shooting, Braden. You must be awful scared. Did Chin get his knife into you, too?
You just stand up one time, Chester, I'll be happy to kill you.
You drop your gun, Braden.
No!
Well, you got a Shinola commercial in that segment. We'll hear the results of Gunsmoke and the Q from November 17th, 1957, along with another episode of the soap opera Claudia. That'll be coming up in just a few moments. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite station and at classicradio.stream. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now the conclusion of Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, from November 17th, 1957.
Okay, Chester.
Did you kill him?
Yeah, I killed him.
Well, I guess you had to.
There's Chin's treasure box, Chester. Pick it up, will you?
Here it is. I guess that's what they killed him for. Must be full of money after all.
Now, let's take a look.
By golly, it is money.
Yeah, this much is money. $4.
$4? Is that all?
That's all.
What's that other paper?
I don't know. Strike a match, Chester. Hold it over here, huh?
Yeah. That looks like some kind of a document, don't it? What's it say?
I can't see it very well. Hold it closer. Something about Chin Wong was of invaluable service and intelligence. General McClellan's Army of the Potomac. Peninsular Campaign, March 1862. Correct.
Wait a minute. Make another light. All right.
March 1862, in recognition, something. Chin Wong is hereby granted full citizenship of the United States. Signed, Ulysses S. Grant, President.
Well, I'll be doggone.
Well, it looks like Chin wasn't exactly a foreigner after all, doesn't it?
Poor little fella.
Chester.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to take this letter out to Major Honeyman at Fort Dodge. I got an idea he might want to give Chin Wong a military burial.
That'd be fine, Mr. Dillon. That'd be just fine.
Basil Rathbone, star of stage, screen, and television.
Hello there. Nothing's more trouble to an actor than an awful cold. How can you perform? Burning with fever, muscles aching too. I have to get rid of those nasty cold miseries fast.
What do you take, Mr. Rathbone?
At the first sniffle, I take 4-way. It's the fastest way to stop cold distress, even a virus cold.
Right. Of all leading cold tablets, tests prove 4-way is the fastest acting brand. In minutes, 4-Way's exclusive formula is speeding amazing relief into your bloodstream. In the same time, other brands showed no sign of relief. No other cold tablet, only 4-Way, starts so fast to relieve all these cold miseries.
Relieves aches, pains, headache.
Reduces fever.
Calms upset stomach.
Overcomes irregularity. Today, get 4-Way brand cold tablets, fastest way to stop these cold miseries. Only 29 and 49 cents. If a bothersome cough accompanies your cold, get welcome relief with new liquid 4-Way cough and cold medication. Gunsmoke,
Produced and directed by Norman McDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. The story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston. Featured in the cast were Ben Wright, Lawrence Dobkin, Barney Phillips, and John Daner. Harley Bear is Chester, Howard McNear is Doc, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty. Join us again next week for another story on Gunsmoke.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
November 17th, 1957, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we're going to go 9 years forward to, or is it backwards? I never can figure that out when you're dealing with time. An episode of the soap opera Claudia from November 17th, 1948.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia, based on the famous play and novels by Rose Franken. Brought to you transcribed Monday through Friday by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
Oh, dear.
Why don't you go up to bed, Claudia?
Why should I, Mama?
Such a sigh. You must be exhausted.
I'm not exhausted.
You don't have to wait up for David.
Oh, yes, I do.
I suppose you think he won't recognize the house if you're not sitting at the window staring out of it.
I am the human light in the window for David.
Some lights know enough to hide under a bushel.
Now, Mama, what would David want with a bushel?
I don't know what he wants with a light in the window either.
I have never seen so much rain in my life. Rain, 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 all day rain. What an awful day.
Think of David having to stay in town this weather, coming home so late. He'll be exhausted.
Say, Mama, you know this is a perfect moment for cleaning out the desk here. I've been putting it off for days. I think I'll do it right this moment.
My, such ambition all of a sudden.
Well, never put off till tomorrow what you can do tonight. Oh, my golly, such a lot of rubbish is gathered. We haven't any room for the important things.
Like a checkbook, ink, and stuff. That doesn't take much room.
Check vouchers. Will you look at that pile? You know David insists on keeping them all. He says you have to.
David's right.
It's for income tax, he says. Honestly, everything these days seems to be for income tax. What do people do before income tax?
They enjoyed themselves.
But they had nothing to talk about. War and income tax. They've replaced the weather.
Well, I suggest you get back to cleaning out the desk, or it'll be a mess when David comes in.
When David comes in. Huh. Well, what do you know? Here's his pipe scraper in the top drawer.
I think he loves that pipe scraper more than anything else on earth.
Sometimes I think so, too. You know, it looks just like a little can opener, doesn't it?
Well, don't try to open any cans with it.
There's a nice smell of tobacco. Like David's closet. I like men things. Tweeds, pipes, heavy, leathery-smelling shoes, and all that shaving business.
The desk, Claudia.
You know it's strange, Mama. You and I had so many years together, just the two of us alone. No husband, no father, no brother, no son. Now it just doesn't seem possible, does it?
You've certainly made up for it in double time.
Yeah, I did pretty well, if I do say so. Husband and son all in 1 year.
Well, it's not unusual. What's unusual is that they're both so nice.
Well, back to the desk business now. Enough mooning, Mrs. Norton.
Now I'm yawning. Must be getting really late.
Almost 10:30. I wonder which train David will be taking.
There's one out of New York at 8:30.
Nope, too early.
And another at 9:15.
That gets in about 10:20 if it's an express. Gee, if David didn't make that one, he wouldn't be home till nearly midnight.
Well, if he's not home by 11:15, we'll both go to bed.
Well, we'll see. Oh, for heaven's sake, here's a stamp. This afternoon I was desperate for one.
Why don't you buy 100 stamps, Claudia? Then you'll always have them on hand when you want one.
100 stamps is $3, Mrs. Brown. You wouldn't catch me spending $3 just for stamps.
But you do spend $3 in the end, buying them one at a time.
Well, they cost only 3 cents one at a time. There's an awful lot of difference between 3 cents and $3.
Have it your way. I refuse to argue with pig-headedness.
Well, there is, isn't there?
I refuse to discuss it any further, I said.
Mama, I bought 100 stamps yesterday. 100 beautiful, brand-new, first-hand stamps all at once.
Well, it's about time you showed some sense.
I thought you'd be pleased.
If you bought 100 stamps, why were you scrounging around for one?
Well, I just didn't like seeing it go to waste, in case it was there.
Hopeless.
You know, Mom, I thought the baby seemed irritable today, did you?
Oh, he just cried a little more than usual.
He did. Maybe he's cutting a tooth.
Not yet.
Well, how do you know? He's probably precocious.
I know. It wasn't that kind of crying.
What kind of crying was it, Grandma?
Just crying.
Oh, I see.
He missed being outside, probably.
Well, I guess it was just one of those bad days for all of us. Yup, one of those days. Long, dull, and rainy.
And David home late.
I am spoiled. That's what I am.
At last you admit it.
Well, I've had him so much at home lately. What with his accident and then buying the cow, I guess I'm just a big sissy when he's not here.
You could be worse things.
Nope. Nope, it's not right being a sissy. Not when you're married to a man like David. Oh, well, what do you know? Here's a note he made on a piece of paper, and he left it here.
A note? About what?
About the feed for the cow. You know, Mama, I'll bet that just from his handwriting you'd know that David was a man who appreciates cows.
Oh.
And you'd know he's a man who could get along beautifully without anybody or anything, if he had to. His outlines are so clean, strong.
Give it to me. Let me see his handwriting.
Can you read it, Mama? I mean, can you read it in a character sort of way?
Oh.
What?
He writes very much the way your father did.
Really?
I never noticed it before. What a strange feeling it gives me.
Mama, after my father died, you didn't have anything to wait for.
Yes, I stopped waiting. I just went on living instead.
I suppose even I could.
You could. Any woman can.
Well, I think love is different for a man, anyway. Now, take, like David, tonight. His being in love with me and his doing his work are just two different things. With a woman, it's all mixed up into one.
Do you mind?
You bet I don't. Being in love with David just makes everything exciting and important.
How are you doing on your desk? Is it exciting and important?
It is neither. But must be done. Now that I'm in the middle, I can't stop. Let me see now, where was I? Oh, look. For heaven's sakes, here's a book he's reading last night. In the desk. He was sitting in that chair, smoking his pipe, his forehead sort of wrinkled up a little. I wonder how he happened to leave it in the desk. Mama, maybe I ought to read more books. David seems to find it fascinating. Oh, golly, what a miserable day it's been. Did you hear a door open, Mama?
No, I didn't hear anything.
You sure?
Positive.
It's funny. I guess I'm hearing things. I guess it's sort of wishful thinking. A handbook of building and construction. Say, Mama, I think I'll read some of this.
Does anybody even notice me or say hello?
Mama, I told you I heard a door opening.
Well, that's a fine greeting.
David, hello. You crept in. Listen, take off your coat. Why don't you come in decently like a human being?
She's been waiting all this time to tell you that, David.
Mm-hmm. Would you like me to go out and come in again?
You're all wet.
Thank you.
Your feet wet, darling?
No, they're all right. It's raining out.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
It's late, David. You must be tired.
Nope, not tired.
Oh, good. Darling, you didn't say hello decently.
What are you talking about? I didn't.
No.
Hey, get away. You want to get soppy?
Oh, listen, who cares whether I get sopping or not? Say hello as if you meant it.
Hello, as if I meant it.
Oh, you goop.
Well, now that you're back, I suppose I can go to bed and break up this lonely vigil.
Why, Mrs. Brown, have you been waiting up for me?
I've been waiting up for my daughter, and she insisted on waiting up for you. Very stubborn, my daughter.
Oh, very nifty, your daughter, in that negligee.
Like it?
Better like it. I paid for it. That's very nifty indeed.
I never heard you say that before. What's that mean?
Good-looking woman.
You mean me?
No, I mean Mama.
Well, good night, children.
Good night.
It's late.
It's early now, Mama. The evening's just beginning.
Have it your way. Good night, David.
Sweet dreams, Mrs. Brown.
Well, take off your shoes, darling. You'll catch cold.
I told you I'm all right. Take off your own shoes.
Listen, I'll help you. Come on.
Now, stop fussing.
I'm not
Will you leave me?
fussing. I'm helping you.
That's what you think.
Here's your pipe.
Thank you.
Oh, I almost forgot your pipe scraper, too.
Doesn't
You know
need a
where I
scraper.
found it?
Where?
Found it in the desk drawer.
Oh, that's my new one. Here, I'll show you. I have my old one.
Old things best.
Mm-hmm.
You know I'm an old wife, too?
They are my best, and I admit it.
You look tired, darling. You tired?
Oh, not particularly. It was a long day, but
I know.
everything went well.
Good.
Give me a match.
Oh, just a minute.
Outside of being a little damp, I'm fine. What kind of day did you have?
Wonderful day.
Mm-hmm. What'd you do?
Oh, nothing. It was marvelous.
Rained hard in New York.
Did?
Mm-hmm. Rain up here?
Oh, who cares about a little rain? I love rain. It's lazy, it's quiet, private.
Say, you're in awfully good spirits.
Why shouldn't I be?
I think you got along too beautifully without me.
Do I?
Mm-hmm. It was so late when I got home, I expected to find you here sleeping or sulking.
I never sulk.
Now, instead, I find you in great spirits.
What's so amazing about that? Make a lap.
Well,
Oh, that's much better. For me. How about you?
I can't tell yet. Settle.
How's it now?
All right. What about the baby?
Well, what about him?
Did you have a good day?
Perfect. I think he likes the rain, too. Maybe he's a water baby.
I'll say he is. He's damp most of the time.
Afraid so. David.
What?
You know, tonight while I was waiting for you, I cleaned out your desk.
Hey, now, if you threw anything away...
Now, listen, now, don't get so huffy about it. I was doing you a favor. I cleaned out your desk.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid
Awful
of.
mess, too.
I can bet.
Disgusting. I didn't throw anything away. I just took everything out, and then I put everything back in again.
Sounds like a very productive evening.
It was.
Maybe I'd better spend more evenings away from the house. Would you like that?
Well, what do you think?
I still think you got along all too well without me. Beautiful day, beautiful baby, beautiful evening.
In short, I get along beautifully without you, darling. When you're around. When you're not around, all I do is wait.
That's a funny thing to say. You just told me what a wonderful day you had.
Waiting for you. Oh, David, don't you see? When I'm sitting here with you right next to me, then I can say, yes, darling, it's been a beautiful day.
At the hairdressers, at the movies, at shops without number, you find that you have to wait these days. But you do so much more patiently if there's a Coke cooler handy. For ice-cold Coca-Cola helps everyone wait refreshed.
Are those children still gabbing downstairs, Mr. King?
Yes, Mrs. Brown, yes they are. They must have a lot to catch up on.
Oh, yes. A great deal. One whole entire, very rainy day when nothing happened.
Well, you know, something can't be happening every minute of the day.
Well, I should hope not. You know, life with Claudia, Joe, and David. Claudia and David is active enough without something happening also. Well, I suppose I'd best be off to bed.
And thank your lucky stars, Mrs. Brown, that you'll sleep the whole night through tonight.
Now, what do you mean? Tomorrow night I won't?
Baby in the house, remember?
Oh, yes. Babies love the middle of the night.
Indeed, babies do, Mrs. Brown. And you'll have due cause to remember that after tomorrow night. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
November 17th, 1948, Claudia here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now, on many of our stations, you have heard two shows from November 17th, 1957. Next hour, on many of these stations, you will hear an episode of the FBI in Peace and War, Jailbait. That'll be coming up on many of these stations. 3 shows, same date, November 17th, 1957. That was a Sunday. Thank you for joining us here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand. You can learn more about classic radio collecting. You can contact me, find our social media links, and you can buy me a coffee. The nice part about the buy me a coffee is that helps us not only acquire additional classic radio collections, but it also helps us expand the reach of our show. We greatly appreciate that. All of that available at classicradio.stream. And my friend Ted at radiomemories.com has a whole bunch of newly cleaned up shows available on cassette, CD, or on flash drive for your computer. That's at radiomemories.com, and tell them I sent you by, won't you please? Thanks for making us a part of your day. Tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.